Welcome back to Sunflower Cottage Crochet. This is Sarah. Today's tutorial is the Tunisian Crossed Stitch. As you can see, there's little X's here, and this is the simple way to do it is straight into columns. You can alternate them, but there's a whole method for that. So today I'm going to start you out simple. We're just going to do the straight columns of the cross stitches. It does appear to create neat little ridges. I really like this stitch. Of course, I do tend to like crossed stitches. They're in a lot of my patterns. So whether it's Tunisian or not. So let's get you started. This is a multiple of 2 stitches and a single row repeat. So to get started, I said that it was a 2-row repeat. I now have my 16, and I'm going to do a normal foundation row. And if you need help with that, you need to go see my beginning Tunisian techniques video. To complete my foundation row, I'm going to chain 1 and complete a normal return pass. So the foundation row is now complete. We're going to start with the stitch pattern right away. So in order to work a crossed stitch in Tunisian, is very much like working it as a cross double crochet or an X stitch in regular crochet. You're going to skip 1 stitch, work a double crochet, or work a stitch, and then cross back over to the other skipped stitch and work it then, and it creates that crossed stitch. So, but we're not going to do any doubles or half doubles. We're just going to do simple stitches. But we're going to skip this bar. This is the right edge. We're going to skip this first one and work into the second one, a simple stitch. Okay, and then now we're going to go into the one that we skipped, just right in front. No fancy back post anything, and work it. You can see it starts to twist it already. It starts to create that cross. So now we're going to skip this next bar and work a simple stitch in the next one. And now we're going to go back to the skipped bar and work it. And it might be a little tight because it's going to get smashed from the angle. So you might want to remember to keep it a little looser on this one. And we're going to skip the next one, work a simple stitch in the next, go back to the one that we skipped, and work it as well. And we're going to do that all the way down. So I'm going to skip, simple stitch, and then simple stitch in the skipped. Skip the next one, work a simple stitch, and then come back and simple stitch the skipped one. And we're going to skip, do a simple stitch, and then simple stitch in the skipped one. And again, it is a little tight at first. The working in the foundation row is always a little awkward. And then we're going to skip this one and work the last simple stitch there, and then work the skipped one. And now we're going to work a normal edge stitch. All right, so you can see that it kind of creates little pairs on your hook. So we work a normal return pass. So we're going to chain 1 and then pull through 2 all the way back. So now we have our first row complete. It's very hard to see except for this first one. So we're going to keep doing what we just did. So we're going to skip this first one because we never worked that, and simple stitch the next one. And now we're going to simple stitch the skipped one. And it's easier to work now because they're sort of separated and there's a little more give in the fabric. So I'm skipping one and working the next, and then I'm going to go back and work the skipped one. And it's all Tunisian simple stitches. So my next row is gathered, and I need to work an edge stitch and complete a normal return pass. I'm going to work that edge, chain 1, and then start working my normal return pass. So now we have a couple of rows completed, and we'll keep working this pattern until you reach your desired height. So I'm going to work one more on camera, and then we'll bind off. So again, we're not going to work this. We're going to skip that and work the next one. and then work the skipped one. Skip one, then work the skipped one. Skip, work the next one, then come back to the skipped stitch. And I'm going to keep doing that all the way down. Now I need to work my edge stitch and normal return pass. So now that we have a few rows under our belt, we can see that pattern pretty well. You can choose to alternate colors each row. Remember, a row is a forward and return pass, so you'll change color on the right edge if that's what you choose to do. So now we need to bind off, and we're going to bind off in the same way. So I'm going to skip this first bar and bind off the next one, and then I'm going to go back to the skipped one and bind it off, and I'm going to skip and bind off the next one. There we go. And then I'm going to go back to the skipped one and bind it off. I'm going to keep doing that all the way down. If it bothers you to do this for bind off, you could do a Tunisian simple stitch bind off all the way down. It won't carry forward your pattern though, which is why I go ahead and continue it in the pattern. If you were knitting, you would continue your pattern for your bind off. So I've done all of that, and so now I'm going to bind off my edge stitch, and it kept in with the pattern for the bind off, which I prefer. I chain one to secure, and then I would snip my ends and weave them in. But that is the Tunisian Crossed Stitch. Thank you for joining me. Please hit the subscribe button and like this video. Leave a comment if you like. Hit the bell icon to be notified anytime we upload a new video. And then I will see you in the next one. Bye.